Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. I'm Tempest and today we're doing the Emissaries of Light set review. We're going to do our best to try not to call it Opus 16, but if it's on the box I will completely get upset. If you guys didn't catch it on the Opus, on the last one, the Dominion, no, Crystal Dominion or whatever, it still said Opus 15 on the box in tiny little letters on the left side. But anyway, today we're going to be talking about all these Nido Fire cards. I'm going to try my best to include, standard, sealed, and title as a suggestion, right? If you guys are into that. I don't know too much about title, to be honest, but I will do my best. I've been trying to do better, right, guys? Learn more is what this game's all about. So, make sure to check out the other reviews. I've gone and we'll have them separated by elements. And always, please make sure to leave your thoughts below so we can talk about some of these cool cards and what you think and let me know what your favorite ones are. All right. So, Vaughn, 2-cost backup. Sky Pirate, when he enters the field, choose a forward, deal it 3k. If you have cast 3 or more cards this turn, deal it 8k. And then an S, tap and choose a forward, deal it 7k. Now, I have a few problems with this card. His name is Vaughn. He's fire now. He's a backup. I guess he's a good, decent 2-drop backup, but now his abilities are like leaning into the wind elements. And then his S is less than his like enter ability. It's weird, right? Like this card reads a lot of like confusion, right? Like to me, I don't think it's a great card. I don't think it'll see play in standard or title, but maybe like sealed would be a half decent card if you're able to pull a couple of them. He is only a rare, so yeah, I don't know. Let's see what happens there with this card, but I'm not too big on it. Ace, another Ace. EX burst, when he enters the field, choose a forward, reveal any number of cards from your hand. Deal 3,000 damage for each different element among the revealed cards. When Ace attacks, gain 1,000 power for each different element among the characters you control until the end of the turn. So, he's a good card. The problem is, again, is that we have too many Aces, and it's not even like he's going to fit well as an EX burst for the deck. Title, I'm sure he's going to make Absurd Degrader, and Sealed, he'll be pretty decent too. Because you'll often find yourself playing multiple colors in Sealed, and another good EX burst like that is very nice. So, he's a good card. He's just his problem is everything, like his name and his job and all that stuff. The problem is the game, right? Like the game he's from. Poor guy. He never stood a chance. Elvis, this is the new archetype. This is a 2-drop backup fire. When he enters the field, deal 3k for each soiree member you control. It's a good card. This archetype might be very strong, I think. It's a little too early to tell, but it's got a lot of them read really well, and this is no exception. EX burst, fire, and for your tribe, right? For 3k for each tribe member or whatever. So. We talked about this on Unite. Just remember, he's a decent card. If you don't have cards, if you pitch out all your cards to, like, if you only have 3, right? He's one of them. You pitch 2 to play him, then you just draw 2 more cards. He's a good card. I don't know if he'll go into Warrior of Lights. There's other better cards that came out for that. But he's okay. Cloud. I'm tired of seeing clouds. I hope, if I ever do make a bingo card, it is that they don't come out with a cloud, right? Like no cloud or no FF7 characters. When cloud enters the field, choose a forward, select one of the following 3 actions, deal a forward 5k, get an FF7 character, choose a forward, I'm sorry, and then add it back to your hand, or choose a forward you control without the multiples symbol, and you can search for a forward with the same name and add it to your hand. Half decent card. I like, the bottom effects, right? It's value, but the problem is that if you're playing an FF7, he's forced to play in an FF7 deck to get the most value. But if you're playing FF7, you're playing a different cloud. So probably in title will be very, very good, just because you can play multiple clouds, and he helps you get other clouds into it, right? So the 7 deck gets stronger. Crimson Hound, another 7 card. When he enters the field, deal OK, and then for 1 CP you can put him into the break zone, look at the top 2 cards, and return these to the top and or bottom of the deck in any order. So this is like the new monster thing, this set. You're gonna have All the monsters will be able to do the second ability, and 8k is good. I'm glad they're moving into this. This is a little cheaper than some of the previous ones. I know Red Dragon was also 8k, but you had to pay 2 for something for it, and then Iron Giant was 7k, I think, or less. I don't remember, but it's a good damage. They're moving in the right direction with these. The Black Waltzes we've talked about. 2 is very good. The lightning one is the better one, right? Pairing them together. The ice one's a little weak. This one's more versatile in all aspects, right? So one more time though, when Black Waltz is discarded from your hand due to an ability, you choose a forward, deal 4k. And for 0 CP, you discard a job Black Mage from your hand. When you do so, choose a forward your opponent controls, deal 5k. So collectively, this one could do, like if you have an effect that triggers, you can have this one do like, you know, if you only have the red ones, for example, right? This is just because we're talking about the red one. If you have one in hand and one out, you can use the effect to deal 9k to something, right? It's pretty good. Sorry about that. Another Black Mage though, when he enters the field, choose a forward, deal it 3k. If you have a summon, deal it 5k. Pretty simple effect. I almost feel like that first effect shouldn't even be like in there, like, but whatever, that's just me. I feel like this is just unnecessary text and like complications for a simple card, right? Like, it just, if you have a summon, you break stone, deal your opponent 5k, I guess, right? Whatever. The Black Mage, another Black Mage for the Black Mage deck. I think collectively there's like, I don't know, 12, 15, 20 now with the new ones, with the Black Waltzes and stuff. So a lot of options to choose one. His isn't bad. The fact that he has damage, right, is going to pair a little bit better with these new guys. So Samurai, so a new Samurai 4-drop backup. Put him in the break zone, choose a fire forward of cost 4 or less, and your break zone, play it onto the field. So it's like the White Mage, but for fire. But also added effect, if it is a Samurai or card named Samurai, deal 2k to all your forwards. It's going to pair well on those turns. It's definitely going to go in Samurai's deck, right? It's going to pair well with Cyan on those turns that you're trying to like quickly calculate damage, but you need an extra like 2k. You'll be able to swap out this one for another Samurai and swing out for the same amount of damage, but that's your extra added 2k to the board, right, that you were looking for. I know oftentimes that deck has that issue. You're always like, oh man, if I only have 1 or 2 more Samurai somehow. Well, this guy does that for you, right? It just doesn't, a quick 2k brings in another Samurai, so it replaces them, right? So your Samurai count doesn't actually change for whatever you're at, but it's good. It's a good card. Dijin, if a fire forward you control deals damage to a forward, that damage is increased by 1,000. Very good. And then at 3 damage, you can turn him into a forward with first strike. 7k with first strike. Very good. So he is like, obviously he's a hero, which is why his text reads so well, but he is now officially the cheapest way to increase this, to increase damage from a forward. And he has a little added effect, right? The first strike is just like almost too much, right? Like, because he's a hero, the first strike, that's what gave him that, right? Like, he's like, oh, I'm worth more, right? Like, I'm the harder to get card, I'm gonna be worth it, right? And that's where the first strike comes in. Like, he's very nice. So pretty much he's actually also dealing like 8k first strike, right? Because it's an extra effect, right? So if like Minwu's out in place, it won't matter. But this is still, he kills 8Ks, right, for a 2-drop. It's really good. Squall, we talked about this Squall. He's a very strong card with a very difficult abilities to do, but the rest of him reads really great. He's in a weird spot though where he needs to have that haste, or he's kind of like complicated, right? But in the deck that I assume he'll be built around, or primarily be focused in, right, which is like an ice discarding deck, ice fire discard, he's going to be very, very useful. If either player has 2 cards, he gains haste, and then when he attacks, deal 4k, when he gets blocked, deal 4k, and if you both have 0 cards, he gains first strike brave and can attack twice. Very good. They all read well, but like you can pair him with Dijin now too, right? So he'll deal 5k to everybody. And that's a good number to be dealing right now to boards. You can also check out the video I talked about him individually in the card of the week a few weeks ago, if you want to see more info on him. Suzaku. Now, we didn't really talk about these guys in the spoiler ones either, but this is a new tribal deck, 11 tribal deck.
As long as you have a job Shijin in the break zone, you can be played with any CP element. When he attacks, deal 5k, and his EX burst is to search another one other than himself, right? He's 4 for 7, and I don't know, they're all kind of underwhelming, like individually, but I think I'm gonna have to actually put it all together and try the deck, right? Because it reminds me like of a weird Gladiator Beast thing where they all search each other out, and you can kind of pay for them with any element. It kind of has that mannequin feel to it, and they have like all these little added effects to cover different bases. Like one deals damage, one reduces damage, one activates something. I think I don't remember. It's just, I don't know if it's necessary, right? Like, I know they're going to lend themselves to all the summons in this set, which require 3 or more elements to be played, but it's always difficult to narrow down the backup line to some of these, for some of these like multicolor decks. And I don't think this guy's, I know they color fix themselves, but it's still a little sus. I don't know. We'll see if it comes out. So this is the other, like, so there was the Moray Swarze members or whatever, and then there's Shijin. These are like 2 new archetypes that come out of this set, so they might be playable. Soul, Warrior of Light. When Soul enters the field, you may pay a crystal. When you do so, play a forward of cost 4 less from your hand onto the field. When a party you control attacks, gain a crystal. When all forwards you control gain 2,000 power until the end of the turn. So, a bunch of really good effects that revolve around the crystals, right? Like, I love being able, the idea for a crystal to bring in a Ferris. That's major CB value, right? And when your parties attack, gain crystals, also very good. And then you can infinitely pump as long as you have infinite crystals, right? So now, like, the infinite crystal loop, unless it matter, like, doesn't really matter yet, but seems more relevant now, right, with something like this. So that's just something I'm like on the top of my mind. I don't know, the problem is his name is Soul, in my opinion, and we don't like the idea of replacing the other Soul that when he parties, he helps you search the exact Warrior of Light we want. So it's really that balance that you're doing, right? Do you want to play a more crystal-based Warrior of Light deck, or do you want to play something more traditional and just, you know, use better cards? Which is arguably the case, right? They're both very good. But I like this second part. All forwards, this last part, right? Like, just keep pumping them and keep everyone safe. That's their biggest problem sometimes, that they don't have enough, like, power to survive most things. So that helps out a lot. Oh, I keep doing that. Delita. When Delita enters the field, deal 4 damage to all forwards. It's just troublesome, right? All forwards. When a character damaged by Delita is put from the field in the breaks on the same turn, gain a crystal. Remove 1 forward other than Delita from the game. Delita gains if this forward deals damage to a forward, damage increased by 2,000 instead. Right, so he can gain enough crystals, right? If he kills everything on the board, he's going to gain a bunch of crystals. And then you can, if his second effect was for remove a crystal to do this, it would be good. I hate the idea that I have to sacrifice a forward for him, but that's always been like Delita's thing, right? Like, even Opus 1 Delita was like, get rid of a forward, sacrifice a character, send it to the break zone, or break it, I think it was. He's a good card. I think he'll make his way into the Knights. I like that he's a Fire Knight. He's more searchable with Gwaine and stuff like that. He's 10k with Avelia. The FFT lineup is getting me excited. Morrow. This card is absurdly good, guys. Don't be sleeping on Morrow. Don't fall asleep on this card. Haste. The forwards you control can form a party with forwards of any element. When Morrow forms a party and attacks, discard 1 card from your hand. If you do so, draw 2 cards. When Morrow forms a party and attacks, Morrow deals your opponent 1 point of damage. So many good effects from a hero. I love cards like this. So a few things that pop into my mind right now is that a card like this is gonna drastically improve cards. Decks like ninjas, probably Warrior of Lights, and other ones of that nature that require even the Shijins, the ones we were just talking about, even the Moray Soirees, right? Like, all of those that require different elements and different stuff. This guy fixes like the party attack thing, and he just generates value, right? He's an engine. He becomes his own like draw engine, right? Like, oftentimes you're fishing for the right color or whatever, but he helps the whole party attack thing with that, and he draws you cards. And then later, if late game, he's like closing out the game for you. Maybe he's stealing a game for you. All he has to do is form a party and attack,
Moral deals you a point of damage. Do not fall asleep on this card. Please watch out for this card. Even mid game, right? If he's allowed to survive and party with other stuff, and you have knocked this out, even like there's too many cards there that like even. I'm getting excited. Even what are they called? Vikings could benefit from this, like a Firewater Vikings thing with so many options for this deck, for this card. But very playable, very strong. Also, the art, this foil should look really nice. Bahamut, FF category 7, choose a forward, deal it 9k. If the cost to cast Bahamut was paid with CP of 3 or more different elements, deal it 12k instead. So this new 3 CP element thing is the new kind of thing for this set. 9k is already good. Is 12k really necessary? I don't think I've ever needed 12k to kill anything. I guess it's just insurance, obviously, for like, so your opponent doesn't like do battle tricks or something. It's obviously insurance, right? But still, I think 9k is strong enough. It might be unnecessary. But again, we were kind of just talking about how there's a lot of new multicolored things, like, you know, those 2 decks that we talked about, Shijin and the Soirees. They might lend themselves to these summons, and I think that's part of why Sealed is going to be interesting in this set altogether, because of this, because of these summons and those archetypes. Ramza Knight, a crystal. Ramza gains haste and Ramza's power becomes 9k. Ramza gains first strike, brave, and can attack twice in the same turn. These effects don't end at the end of the turn, right? So you need 2 crystals to fuel Ramza, and he's busted. This is a great card for a rare. Do not sleep on this card. Obviously, his biggest problem is his like, you can respond to these effects, right? But that's with most things anyway. But still, if you have enough crystals, you can always stack that first ability anyway. So he saves himself, and you can use the second effect whenever you're ready for it. So yeah, the Knight deck is going to be fun, guys. So be very, very, very excited for this one. Good card, going to be played. Lilty, you can tap her, 2 CP backup. You can tap her to return her to your hand. When Lilty enters the field, you may put Lilty into the break zone. You so choose your forward and deal it. Choose a forward and deal it 10k. Now, this is we talk about like the themes or whatever. We talked about the monster theme, how they have that extra added effect. We talked about the summons, how they have those extra like multiple element cost effects. And now we have these. This is the backups. At 5 damage, they all do something, but you can lift them back to your hand. So 2 good things are like, first of all, I like these backups a lot because they're going to be useful all the time, right? Some effects are better than others. Obviously, like the 10k is pretty good. It not only is it useful, it removes itself from your backline, right, to allow you to play more backups if you need to. It's a way to convert CP in a weird way. Like, you pay 2 to play it. Then instead of generating 1 every turn, when you need it, you can pick it up and convert it to 2. Because I know there's several times in many games we always tell ourselves, damn, if only I had 1 more CP. I'm 1 CP short of winning the game. Interestingly enough, I think these cards will do that. Will fix this problem. And like, I don't know, I just think the effect itself is very good. It's very easy, it's very sustainable, and it's useful. Always going to be useful, right? I don't know. I like this one. This one's good. I think I like the water one the most, obviously, but they're good. Consider playing at least 1 or 2 of these in your decks. That's all I'm going to say. Lunith, at the beginning of the attack phase during each of your turns, select one of the following actions. Choose a Job Warrior of Light and give it 1k in haste and first strike, or choose a forward and deal it 1k for each Job Warrior of Light or fire character. Decent effects. Should make its way into the Warrior of Light deck and replace Lunith. Also is very full arty, and yeah, you'll like it. It looks nice. The black background though might not make for a pretty foil. Maybe if it's full art though. I'll have to see it. Poor Luso. So, a couple of things. We did talk about this guy before in the card of the week. 2 really good effects. Unfortunately, you do not get both. One or the other. Won't really lend itself to other decks other than fire, I think. But at the beginning of the attack phase during each of your turns, if you have received 5 points of damage or less, shuffle your deck and then reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a fire character, play it onto the field. At 6 damage, at the beginning of the attack phase during each of your turns, you may search for a fire character and play it onto the field. Now, even if you only get this once, it might be worth it, but If you get it more than once, it's obviously really, really good. Again, it all depends on your matchup and how well this is. I'm gonna think this card is, I'm not gonna say this card is terrible, right? It's not. It's just not safe. My problem with legendaries now is that I expect them to have some kind of innate ability to protect themselves outside of getting me ridiculously large amounts of value, right? Because if the first effect is nice early game, but it's not safe early game, right? And late game, it's a good effect. It's a really, really good effect that could, in fact, bring you back from a losing game, right? Because when you play him, he doesn't trigger anything, right? So it doesn't actually pass priority to your opponent, so he's not able to kill it. But once you enter attack phase, his thing will trigger, right? Causing, you know, putting his effect on the stack, and then your opponent can try to remove it. Just something to think about. I don't know. I don't want to say too many bad things about this card. We did talk about it already, but let's see. I hope someone figures it out, right? I hope it's worth it. And I hope it wins some stuff, but Brynhilder's the thing. It's my biggest problem. Everybody plays that card. And then Rain. I think we also talked about this one. When he enters the field, choose a forward your opponent controls. If a forward you control has been put from the field into the break zone this turn, deal it 9k. It's a little underwhelming for a 5-cost knight. The EX burst it's conditional, right? Like, I don't like that. I don't like those conditional effects. So he probably will not see play. I like the other ones better, the light one especially. Anyway, that's gonna wrap up the fire one, guys. My, editor's picks are definitely Maro, Ramza, Delita, Squall, and Dijin. I think those are the cards that are gonna see the most play, and probably a Soul with a close back, like, runner-up there, because he has so much potential. But yeah, these other cards are absolutely nuts and should be should be abusable, right? Should be in most decks, I think, early on in the meta until the meta finish, like, developing and stuff. But yeah, guys, make sure to let me know what your cards are, your favorite cards from the set, and which ones you hate too while you're at it. Thanks for listening, guys. I'll see you on the next one.